Hi there, Social Studies 30-1. Source number 2, we're looking at, of course, illiberal actions by the government this week. Source 2 is a cartoon. By the way, the sources we're doing this week are from the January 2018 diploma. So if you had been doing the diploma this year, this is kind of what you were up against. So take a few seconds and study the cartoon, and then we'll consider it. All right, so we have a couple sitting on, I would say a couch, but it's not really a couch. It's actually a prison bunk, a prison bed. You can see that the window is barred. They can't get out. He's holding a bag of nachos. The couple is watching TV. And as they watch TV, you can see there's a camera actually on top of the TV. So they're watching TV, but they're also being watched. And you can see as well there are various cameras around the room, microphone at the top of the ceiling. So here's a couple that, seems to be living life normal. They're smiling. They don't seem to be unhappy or in pain or anything, but they're in prison, or at least you're led to think that they're in prison. And then over on the left, you can see an individual standing at the door who is in fact a government official. And he's saying, now you're safe from terrorist attacks. In other words, what he's saying is, because you've given up your right to privacy and we're watching and listening all the time, we can keep you safe from terrorist attacks. So for sure, the cartoon is striking at, is critiquing illiberal actions by the government. Uh, they're taking away people's right to privacy, and they're doing this under the guise that, listen, we're doing this to keep you safe. We're making you safer by watching you all the time, by watching everyone all the time. And even though the couple doesn't know it, and the couple, by the way, stands for the American public, if you look really close, the guy's hat does say USA. The couple actually represents the American public that seems to be either unaware of the lengths its government's gone to, or is content with what its government has done in order to protect them. Maybe they have bought the propaganda. Maybe they've bought what the government was selling. We're taking away privacy to keep you safe. Specifically, he says you're safe from terrorist attacks. The biggest attack in American history from a terrorist standpoint was, of course, 9/11. So I'm thinking this cartoon's got something to do with 9/11. Probably it's critiquing the Patriot Act, which was America's anti-terrorist act that was enacted just after 9/11 all those years ago. I think that's probably as far as you take specifics in the cartoon. I would just expand on those smiles. They either don't know the state that they're in or they're content with it. They really believe that the government's keeping them safe by taking away their right to privacy. So if we look at our links, obviously we see rule of law. Whenever a government commits an act of illiberalism, it's putting itself above the rule of law. And it's doing this to keep you safe, or at least they're saying it to make you think that they're keeping you safe. And whenever you lose rule of law, of course, you're losing individual rights and freedoms. And the couple sitting on the couch have lost the right, the expectation to privacy, freedom. The fact that they're locked in, they can't leave, means their mobility rights have been taken away. Probably freedom of association has been taken away, or at the very least restricted. Probably free speech has been taken away by the government as well. I'm not sure if there's a fit with any of the other principles of liberalism. Maybe self-interest, though I think that would be a reach. I probably wouldn't touch that. And again, whenever you get a cartoon, the cartoonist is not supporting what they've depicted, they're critiquing what they've depicted. So in terms of perspective, I see someone who is challenging illiberalism, is challenging liberalism in that the government perhaps should never be allowed to go to the ends, the lengths of the Patriot Act. There should be no excuse for imposing on people's freedom of mobility, association, speech, privacy, and so on. So for sure, a challenge, a critique to liberalism, governments must be careful. And to finish it off, the cartoonist might say, what's next? Once governments start to enact illiberal actions like we see in the cartoon, what might come after that? Might we see internment might we see, something worse than that. Maybe speculate a bit on what the next step could be. But there you go, 9/11 Patriot Act. That was from the January 2018 diploma. Good job with that.